How did I get into radio? Now that's a question that I'm asked all the time. Now whether you're trying to get into radio yourself, or maybe you just want to listen to me yammer for a while, this is my story. My first encounter with radio was at Southern Utah University on Power 91. I took radio for one semester and had an awful lot of fun. Got in trouble a lot though. I found out the hard way that you can't just put on an Adam Sandler CD and just let it play. I played a song that I thought was clean, but turns out it wasn't, and by the time I figured it out, it was too late. So luckily we didn't get fined by the FCC, but I did get chewed out by the station manager. Hi, Sean. Did you ever know that you're my hero? We had a shift on at night, and I don't think a lot of people were listening, but I was on there with my friend Monk, and we were having an absolute blast. We would do this weird thing with a microphone that was called Put Me on the Wheel. So it would be like this. Put me on the wheel! Whoa! We thought it was hilarious. I have no idea if the audience felt the same way, but I never considered it to be an actual career that I could actually do. So fast forward some time, I become a missionary for a while. That's a story for another time. Then I came back, I got married, I started having kids. Next thing I know, I am knee deep in responsibilities and I just took whatever job I could have. I worked at Lowe's, a customer service center. I worked at a technology company that shoots out pre-recorded phone calls. Sorry. And then I got a job selling tires for a company, and they gave you a 90-day training period. On day 88, they let me know that I would not be joining the company.
You're fired.
Did you know that when a company says, hey, we want some feedback and it's all gonna be anonymous, that it's not really anonymous? I didn't know that, but I know that now. What they told me was that I was too outgoing to sell tires. So anyway, they let me go. I was desperate, I was sad, I had like 3 kids at the time. So I'm driving around town just trying to figure out what to do with my life, when I hear an ad on the radio saying we're looking for a fun and outgoing personality to be on our morning show. I thought, crap, this is perfect. I'm so outgoing, I got fired for it. So I drove over to the radio station and I walked up the stairs and I told the general manager, hi, I'm here for the radio job. And he said, do you have any experience? And I said, well, no, but I think I'm very funny. Confidence gets you a long way. I was clearly bluffing. But he looked at me for a minute and went, all right, you're on Friday. Let's see what you got.
Show me what you got.
I went on the air that Friday and I hit it off with the co-host at the time. Shout out to Robin Banks. Did you ever know that you're... To make a long story short, after about 3 months of the station auditioning other people and flying people in, lo and behold, I won the gig. So it was the Star 98 morning show with Robin and Michael. Robin, my co-host, who had been in radio for a long time, figured out that Michael was just too adult for my personality. So she threw out the idea of calling me Mikey, which I thought was stupid and I didn't like it. But she kept on bringing it up and I kept on thinking about it. And yeah, she was right. Mikey does fit me better than Michael. So the Star 98 morning show with Robin and Mikey. Now, during this time, Robin would have to leave a little bit early so she could go to work, but then I was kind of stuck at the station looking for something to do. So I would go down the hall to B92.1 with Robin Dez, and I would play characters. Like I had one character that I named after a friend of mine, Brad Sutterfield, and I said that I was from the Southern Utah Family Council, and I would then read a list of words on the radio that sounded dirty but actually weren't. Yes, we have a problem with the term kumquat, jazzercise, ding-dong, plump. It was a stupid character, but I had an awful lot of fun doing it. So then Rob, who was the co-host of that show, then quit, and I actually took his spot on B92.1, and then it became the Dez and Mikey show. Then after a while, Dez quit. So I was stuck by myself, just kind of talking to myself on the radio, which is zero fun, by the way. And so I was auditioning lots and lots of people, and none of them were really panning out, or maybe the management didn't like them. So out of desperation, I had my wife come in, and she was my co-host for a day. And on that first day, she made fun of me so spectacularly, so savagely. The management actually called in and said, bring her in tomorrow, and then bring her in the next day, and then bring her in again. And I started to see what was going on. It was obvious that she was a shoo-in for the morning show. Was I thrilled about my wife being my co-host? No, I was not. So I asked Bonnie and I said, how are we supposed to get along when we've had a fight? How can we fake getting along? And she said, we do it all the time at church. Good point. So then it became the Mikey and the Mrs. show. I actually had a problem with the title Mikey and the Mrs. because it took away her first name and I was afraid that it was too old-fashioned and I was being sexist. But Bonnie was the one who actually talked me into it and said, no, Mikey and the Mrs. actually flows a whole lot better. So let's just do that. So then it was the Mikey and the Mrs. show on B92.1. Fast forward a few years where we had a corporate takeover of the company, which happens a lot in radio, by the way. The corporate culture changed overnight. I was overworked. I was super annoyed. I didn't like it at all. So I called up the competition across the street and said, hey, you got room for me? I'll sweep your floors. Just get me out of here. And they said, yes, we do have room. Come on over. So now we're at Planet 105.1. So now you may be wondering, how do you get into radio? And for that, I would have to say, I don't know.
I'm completely useless.
The landscape of radio has changed so much. Large companies are buying up tons and tons and tons of stations, and a common way that they save money is by piping in a morning show from another city into your city. And that's why the content that you listen to on the radio in the morning is very rarely local content. I'm at one of those few stations that still believes in local, is locally owned, and is not sold out to a corporation. So they still believe in local content and local personalities. But if you really want to get on the radio, I would say keep on looking for any kind of hiring position at any radio station. Doesn't matter what the position is. If it's in the middle of the night, take it. If it's sales, take it. Just get your foot in the door, because whenever they are hiring, radio stations will look for people that they know. By the way, if you're looking to get into radio because you want to become rich, that's not going to happen. There are very few people who actually make tons of money in radio. I am not one of them, but it is a ton of fun to be a radio DJ. So anyway, that's my radio career in a nutshell. Hit me up if you have any questions, concerns, or insults. And if you've been watching this all the way to the end, all the way to right now, you are going to heaven. I don't have any proof of that, but I don't have any proof that you're not. Okay, see ya.